Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Talk Friday. I'm your host Matthew, and this is the weekly show where I pick a movie or TV series and just give my thoughts and a review and just talk about it. And for this week, the movie I have chosen is one I just watched on Tuesday. It is Marvel's Eternals. This was directed by Chloé Zhao, an Oscar award-winning director for her work with Nomadland, which I've heard great things about. Haven't gotten around to seeing it, but yeah. Okay. Movie has a pretty unique cast. I only, of course, know like a few of the big budget cast members, mostly Angelina Jolie, the stars from Game of Thrones, and of course Lauren Ridloff. She's in Walking Dead. Yeah. So I think like the main thing with Eternals that was first for me was that you finally get a sense of like superheroes that don't really feel super. I mean, because you have I can't even remember off the top of my head however many Eternals, and there's clearly like a hierarchy of power where there's like three of them which are far stronger and superior than the rest. Granted, the other ones have unique powers and abilities, but in the sense of battle or saving the world and doing such like that, they're pretty useless. But yeah. So that was pretty interesting to me. Going to this movie, I had never read an Eternals comic. I was only really turned to the movie because of a friend who was like, "Yeah, I'm so excited for this movie." Which, this movie has the same runtime as Infinity War, sitting about 2.5 hours. And I mean, it didn't. I thought the movie had like a good balance of like humor and it was, hearty movie. Whereas the like action was okay. This was honestly like another example of Marvel like kind of in my opinion failing to really make you like realize the scale of the threat. Because getting into a little bit of a I guess minor spoiler talk here. So like 3, 2, and 1, gonna talk about some stuff. Where you have the main, I guess like protagonist, whatever you want to call it, Arishem, the main Celestial. Which the Eternals, they've been there since the pretty much dawn of time, keeping like balance and order, keeping the I cannot think of the top of my head. I'm just gonna call them enemies, so it's failure on my part. So keeping the enemies, bad guys at bay, whatever, and ensuring the growth of the Celestial, which go through the movie, realize what the Celestials do. Um, for like I said, spoiler here, Celestials they pretty much feed off the planet and destroy it. But you get a glimpse of, like what that is, but you just don't really realize the scale of the threat there. Or it's like if you watch Dune, they talk about the sandworms. When you see the sandworm and just the scale and just like the directing work and the cinematography of it, you really feel the scale and the threat of the sandworm. When you're talking about the Celestials, like even towards the end, like a main action scene, where to me it was a little cliche. I could pretty much guess what's gonna happen with all the like ending sequences, but still, like I never really felt like the scale and the threat of a Celestial. Which that's something that people have been saying that Marvel kind of drops the ball on a lot. It's just like having good bad guys, which Josh Brolin as Thanos was good, obviously. No one's gonna deny that. But like as far as like other threats and stuff, it's pretty much just I don't know. They're all pretty much cut and dry cookie cutter, in my opinion. But yeah. The next thing I wanted to talk about would be this is a little minor gripe, I guess, is the scoring disparity, where I think it really honestly just kind of sways the opinion of a movie, where not really watching or researching much about Eternals, and when you Google the movie, you see Marvel's biggest blunder and all this bad stuff, and I looked at the scoring reviews, and it made me realize that it's very similar to how Batman vs Superman was, which pull up a little meter here. They're sitting. I mean, okay, granted, back then when it first came out, the scores were pretty much about the same, but as you can look, there's probably like there's 100,000 audience score compared to 5,000. But those two movies came out, they're both at the same like level of disparity between like the main critics and the audience reception. Which I mean, as we saw once there was a director's cut of like Batman vs Superman, that was a little bit more well respected and well received. Where leads me to believe is there some stuff missing out of the Eternals movie where like a director's cut might like help out with it? Because as I was talking about, the ending scene, in my opinion, was pretty. I was able to guess it out pretty well. I mean, overall take of the movie, I enjoyed it. I think like comparing it to something like Black Widow, which apparently was way better received through with audience and critics. Which to me, I thought like Eternals was a cool idea. At least like they're the main characters didn't really feel like supporting characters because they had the supporting Eternals there as the supporting characters as they should be. Whereas in Black Widow, it kind of felt like Black Widow, Natasha felt like the supporting character in her own main movie, which I don't see how people didn't have a problem with that. But my own opinion. But overall movie, I enjoyed it. It's probably not something I'd rewatch, but it was different. I enjoyed what they tried to do with the movie. I enjoyed the differences. It had some things you don't see in Marvel movies. Pushing the PG-13 rating there a little bit. Where the very like beginning you have the love interest and the sex scene between the two. Of course you don't see that, but it's implied obviously. Then you also have Brian Henry, who plays Phastos. He is gay in the movie, and there's a kiss scene between him and his husband. But I think that's great that Marvel's or Marvel, Disney, whatever, they're kind of pushing these things, trying to break the normality of just white male, white female couple, love interest, whatever. But yeah, I like the things that Eternals is going for to do. I think it's a good movie. I think you should watch it. I don't think there's really mainly anything wrong with it. I don't agree that it's the worst movie of all. I can think of a couple dozen others that I'd put lower than that, but it's not really my place. Everyone has their own opinion. But okay, main thing, which I think this saves the movie. Honestly, major spoilers here in this post-credit scene, which you get more of a sense of Kit Harington's character in the movie, which has very little dialogue. It just seems like he's supposed to be this goofy little love interest. That as you learn at the very end of the movie, that he's talking about how he has some family history, and then post-credit scene, he opens a box and there is a blade inside there, which that's the blade of the Black Knight. And then also you hear a voice, which it's pretty much been debunked now that blade that voice is a Blade. It was being played by Mahershala Ali. So that was a good little cameo between the two, which I believe Black Knight is supposed to. I've heard he might be in Moon Knight as well. I am not 100% sure on that, but it's a nice little segue cameo because I'm very, 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 very interested in those two TV series that are coming out, Blade and Moon Knight. I think they'll be great. So overall, like I enjoyed Eternals just for the post-credit scene, in my opinion. But overall, I'm just gonna keep this review short. I like the movie. I think I give it like a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Definitely a change up from the norm. Like I said, I just like the change up of having some superheroes that aren't just problem solvers who are gonna fix the whole thing. You see some of them pass away and die in battle. That's something you don't see all that often, unless it's like in a big major movie where the main villain kills them. But no, these guys are just taken out by some like underlings. And like I said, I just think they kind of dropped the ball on like having you realize the scale of the threat that the Celestials are. And if they do another Eternals, I hope that they kind of do a little bit more with that to make you make you feel the actual scale of the threat that the Celestials are. But yeah, that's gonna conclude my review. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Give feedback, give suggestions, whatever. See you next Friday.